Well, now that the India series is over, Shetty is back in Sri Lanka from a couple of rain-infested matches. I have with me Abhishek Shetty, who is the head of social media at InsideSport. I have Krishnendu Banerjee, who heads the news team at InsideSport, and I'm the editor-in-chief at InsideSport. And this is new. This is new. This is almost going to be a violent debate of sorts, right? We are ranters. We don't claim to be experts. There are enough out there in the market. You get to hear a lot of their opinions. But since Shetty was in Sri Lanka covering what was a historic series for India because of Gautam Gambhir's debut as a coach at the international level, Krish and Shetty are both extremely outspoken. They are very passionate cricket fans. And me, well, I've been known to stir up a pot every now and then in the past as well. This is then the first episode of what we are going to call the Unfriendly Cricket Podcast. There's no friends here. There's no compassion when it comes to these views. Shetty, you are smiling already. Krish never smiles. So what you're seeing on camera here is exactly as you get it. When you see us around the Delhi offices, Shetty in Mumbai, you'll see this is exactly how we are. I smile a lot. Shetty smiles every now and then. Krish, never. Poker face. But since you were in Sri Lanka, Shetty, to start off with, how was it? What did you eat?
Yeah. So when Gautam Gambhir was appointed the coach of India, I was expecting him to break a lot of records, and he did rightly so. But he broke the record of Sri Lanka not winning a ODI series against us in the last 27 years. So he started with that, which was quite disappointing, to be very honest. Everything we cannot even say that it was a third tier team or second tier team. The only player which was missing was Jasprit Bumrah, and it was an entire squad. And when Rohit came in the press conference, when I was attending the press conference, he said that we are not going to take this series as a practice session. It's not a practice session for us because I have only 6 ODIs before the Champions Trophy. But we lost. So we lost 2 games and we drew 1 game. So if he is or the team is not taking it as a practice session, then we are quite poor in it. And even Tikshana said that Indians only have experience in playing in flat tracks, and so just we gave them spin tracks and they were completely out of their zone, which is actually quite insulting to us, but okay.
But that's okay. That's the boring cricket. And cricket is boring every time to us India lose.
Yeah.
You guys must have been toddlers the last time Sri Lanka won a bilateral ODI series against India back in 1997. But Chetty, before I jump to Krish, did you eat any of the crab at the crab company?
Sorry?
Did you eat any crab at the crab company? Did you manage to
No.
eat any of
No, I didn't. I didn't manage to eat
the luscious
anything.
seafood in Sri Lanka? No.
No, I was just there for
Yeah.
like 2 days, but then I realized that the crab company is in Mumbai also, so I can just go someday and eat it. But while I was in Sri
Might
Lanka,
as well come back and.
yeah, while I was in Sri Lanka, I
Yeah.
just focused in getting some exclusives,
But Krish, Chetty,
which was
yeah.
rightly so.
Yeah. No, I mean that was terrific. That was terrific. Shetty was much better than the Indian team in the ODIs. At least Krish, he missed out on the crab, but we also missed out on what we thought would have been an easy peasy victory over the Sri Lankans. Their first pace attack wasn't there. This is a Sri Lankan team, by the way, which didn't even qualify for the Champions Trophy. In the last couple of games in the Asia Cup final, you bowled them out for 50. World Cup game at the Wankhede, bowled them out for 55. Would you have expected that?
Uh, like Shetty said, I mean, he definitely missed out on the crab, but he did not miss out on the crap because that's how India team was there. Uh, we lost. We had a record of 27 years. What neither of the other captains managed to do. Rohit Sharma did
Yeah.
break the record. The so-called T20 champions and who had a, I mean, we had a victory parade just a while ago, right? And then from there to here, what Tikshana said in the comments, post-match comments, it seemed like he was parodying Rohit Sharma and company on a donkey. That's how it seemed. He said India cannot play spin, and that's true because India lost
Yeah.
the series in Bangladesh. It
Yeah.
was similar conditions, similar type of pitch, similar bowlers. India cannot play spin. I mean, Rahul Dravid's the worst legacy could be that India cannot play spin because he was there for 3 years. He had a lot of time. Vikram Rathod had a
Yeah.
lot of time. Now we expect someone like Abhishek Nair to teach Indian players how to play spin. I mean, did you look at
Mm.
Virat Kohli's dismissals in the 3 matches he played? I-
Yeah.
It was better he was on a vacation. I mean, he was still on a vacation, but not in UK, in Sri Lanka. That's how I felt it. Because,
I mean, think of the weather conditions, Krish. Nice and cool in Sri Lanka,
yeah,
in London. Italy, you're in humid Sri Lanka.
that is what he was on. He was
Might
on a
be
vacation in
mentally a
Sri
little
Lanka.
tough as well.
I mean,
Yeah.
he missed out on the Candy trip, so he came out of UK and started his another vacation in Colombo. And the most outrageous thing was when he was asking for a DRS or that terrible call. I mean, there was at least a 6 inch gap between the bat and the pad, and
Yeah.
he thought it was a nick. For what reason? I mean, it's beyond my understanding. Yeah, I mean, if you ask Virat Kohli, he will say we are not experts. We never claim to be. He is, and he shouldn't have. He had a lot
Come
of
on,
terrible
Krish.
decisions.
The three of us are not experts here. You'd expect Virat Kohli to be an expert, but
Exactly.
you know, it's interesting. You mentioned Rohit Sharma as well. He's been of course superb in at least in the one day format of late. He's obviously one of the monster hitters in world cricket. He has three scores in excess of 200, that 264 record shattering. I don't think that's ever going to be touched. Forget about breaking it. But here's the thing: he's been unselfish. He led from the front in the World Cup, scored a truckload of runs again just a few months back, about 9, 10 months back. However, I almost thought he was livid, Shetty. I don't know how his body language appeared to be in the press
Right.
conference. Frankly, I didn't see the video. I only read the quotes. Soon after, he said, "Yeah, we didn't play any sweeps. We didn't play any reverse sweeps. It was obviously a dig at the batters for not taking on the spinners well enough.
Yeah.
You have a leg spinner, relatively unknown, comes in, destroys your batting lineup, 6 wickets. But also, there's a lot of experimentation, right?
Yeah.
You're just trying to combine left and right handed. We've discussed this a lot in the past. You don't want to experiment that. You want to get your mainstays out there. It's about the dependable KL Rahul. Is it the madhouse that is Rishabh Pant? Who do you bank on?
Yeah.
Could you then they maybe go a little easy on Gautam Gambhir? Like Krish said, rightly so. Rahul Dravid, fantastic cricketer, fantastic coach. You reached 3 World Cup finals, you won one of them. But the thing that he would really regret and be gutted about is that he was unable to iron out India's flaws against spin bowlers, quality spin bowlers.
Yep.
Can't really blame Gambhir a lot, or can you?
So when during the practice session, also the 2 days before the first and the second ODIs, Rohit was speaking a lot with Gautam Gambhir throughout, and he was like sometimes he was playing right-handed and sometimes he was acting. So we were looking from far, and he was like doing the left-handed shot. So I think they were only discussing that which player should play, what should be the batting combination. So if you remember, after in the first ODI when when Virat got out, Sundar came. So lots of experiment, lots of stuff. They were just hoping that someone will click against the spin. I don't know if they were even, because in the first press conference, Rohit was looking very calm, and very, he was like,
Yeah.
Surya won and it was good, and we have a good team, etc. But I don't think that even they expected it to go so bad, so wrong. Like
Yeah.
yesterday, we got all out under 130 or something. Like that's embarrassing, to be very honest. So yes,
My drive from Delhi back to Noida lasted longer than the Indian innings. So that's saying something.
yeah.
It was absolutely embarrassing. But okay, Rohit and Gambhir. But how much of Virat and Gambhir did you see? Did they hug each other? Did they
Yeah,
smile?
they were
Was it
having,
like behind the cameras? That's what you want to know.
right. So they were having their conversation. I don't think, like, I think they're very professional to, to just let go
Yeah.
all the past things. But Virat, like Krish mentioned, has been very disappointing throughout this 2024, to be very specific. I don't know have people noticed it or not, but he didn't play the entire England Test series to start with. He just skipped all the 5 tests, and then after 7 days, he joined RCB for their camp. And then he had a good IPL season. He won Orange Cap, if you can call that a good season. Then T20 World Cup flop, and now ODI series against it totally flop. Yesterday we were seeing him on
Yeah.
TV and he was getting very aggressive. He was trying to do something on the pitch. And then I finally thought that, okay, now he's getting in the zone because aggression is what Virat Kohli is known for. But again, he was looking completely clueless while playing a spinner. And like we saw last year, we lost against Bangladesh as well in the last series against Bangladesh at home. And it will happen same if we go to Pakistan or something like that. If they come here to Sri Lanka, if they are making spinning tracks, we are going to हमारे players वहां पे अटकने वाले ही है. हम लोग को ऐसा लगा था कि श्रेयस अय्यर मुंबई से है तो मुंबई वाला अच्छा स्पिन खेल लेगा, बट आई डोंट थिंक इवन ही इज दैट capable of playing spin.
Intent matters, is that right, Krish? I mean, Kohli talks a lot about intent and his aggression. I mean, sometimes when he's appealing, it looks like his veins going to burst out. And
Yeah.
we looked rather foolish with the bat. We looked really foolish with the bat. I mean, yes, Sri Lanka have been superb. They achieved what Jayawardene and Sangakkara and all these guys couldn't. Like I said, in 1997, we were all teenagers. We probably were not, some of you were not even teenagers. Since then, you've not lost any bilaterals to Sri Lanka. I know this Indian team doesn't like calling anything an experiment. They don't want to label these as tests of for the future. But it also reflects that mood within the camp when you get these sluggish wickets. You guys are going to Bangladesh. It takes me back to that Ahmedabad pitch against Australia in the World Cup final. It turned out to be a bit of a bizarre surface after playing so well, and it was a fantastically organized tournament. But yes, it was a pitch that was a little challenging, but you were not up to it. You were too scared, or you're not sure of your footwork. You don't know whether to come forward to a spinner, whether to defend, whether to go out on the front foot and attack. Funnily though, you've also tackled some of the better spinners in Test cricket at home on far more challenging conditions. So it says something about your mindset in ODIs when it comes to these sluggish pitches.
ODI as a format is, I mean, it is in such a juncture where you are not sure whether to play Test cricket or whether to play T20 style of cricket in ODIs. The best example could be Surya Kumar Yadav, and I think everyone else is facing the same, let's say, crisis of identity of ODIs. Because if you see, only Rohit Sharma has been playing it like a T20. He was at 13 ball 31 at one point in the third ODI. He did not show any signs of slowing down. He kept on attacking. On the opposite side, you have someone, Shubman Gill, who was anchoring the opening thing a bit. Good enough. Is it good enough on flat tracks? No, but it is good enough on this kind of surfaces. But I mean, where I agree with Gambhir is that try different combinations, see if it works. But then at times you cannot take bizarre calls like sending Rahul at number 7. He was your opener, fine. You push him to number 5, he excelled there. Fine. Now you have pushed him to number 7. Rahul from opening to number 7. Next what? Number 11. What do you expect of him?
Yeah.
You are, see, that is, I think that is the problem of the entire last 5-6 years. We have seen nobody has a role clarity in terms of batting. If you are not Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma, there is no certain position in the lineup. Sanju Samson, at times he opens, he goes on third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Then he is not in the series. Then again he comes back from nowhere. He plays 150, he scores. Then he scores 2 bad innings, he is dropped. Rahul, I mean, you played him for 2 matches, then you dropped him for third ODI, and you brought him Rishabh Pant. What is the logic? Either you back those players to say, okay, this is the position I want to try you out on, and then if you fail in those 3, then we will see the next alternative. But we do not have that time, and I think that is where Gambhir tried to play Rishabh Pant, and the other criteria was obviously the left-armers. But the thing is, it did not work out, because if you are not playing on such surfaces, you are never going to adjust. These guys do not play domestic.
But then
See, this is where
Krish, you're talking of Gambhir. I know Shetty's talking of Gambhir. You're talking of Rahul Dravid. Valid points. But here's the thing. I mean, your coach is not going to go out there and play for you.
No.
At that level, your coach is not going to teach you how to play a cover drive or to play a sweep or to try and play a reverse sweep to disturb the line of a leg spinner who's really turning it from outside of leg out towards off. He's not going to do that. It all comes down to intent. And the
Are you? I
bizarre
mean,
intent. Imagine Rohit Sharma. He's thinking, I'm the one taking all the risks, and these guys want to come and play at a strike rate of 60,
well,
which is
Shreyas Iyer also
prehistoric.
took the risk.
And
I
did
mean,
that.
bizarre risk, but he did take a risk. He was
But I
trying to
think
play
Gautam
cricket
Gambhir
seven.
as a coach, if you see, I know it's not the work of the coach to go ahead and, show them how to play a cover right. Like Mourinho said when he joined Real Madrid, like I cannot teach them how to play football, these set of players. I
Yeah.
can only just make them work in a group. So Gautam Gambhir cannot come and say Virat Kohli how to play that shot because Virat obviously knows that. But if you see Gautam Gambhir's entire tour of Sri Lanka, the only game we won comfortably was the second game. Okay, the first game Sri Lanka was in the chase. The second game rain happened and then Yashasvi Jaiswal came and did. Third game we were totally out. Sri Lanka was so bad in that third T20 that they lost by their own. First ODI we draw and the rest two we lost. So it's not like he has taken a set of new players like it used to happen before. Like if you're going to Sri Lanka, then they'll take all the new players and then we'll do something. He's taking experimented, like so experienced players.
We would have still won.
Yeah, yeah. And then putting Rahul at 7 and Shreyas Iyer at 6. And then he's playing Shivam Dube. What is Shivam Dube is right arm nothing, right? What is the bowling? What does he bowl? Why are you picking him in ODIs? What is his role? And Rinku Singh, if you're picking Rinku Singh in T20Is and you're giving him 4 balls to play, and then you're justifying it by putting him to ball. That's a joke, right? That's what I'm saying. Ki Surya Kumar is
From this
bowling.
entire joke of the series, Avishka Fernando would be gutted. You were like, yeah, out hi hona tha. If I had to miss 100, did it have to be to Riyan Parag?
Yeah.
I mean, at least there's something there. Riyan Parag is. We know he's a fine young cricketer. There is
He was the
potential,
best bowler
and
yesterday. Like he was
he
bowling
was.
so
He was.
good.
He
Yeah.
was. There's
Actually, he was
potential.
the best player of the series. If you put
Yeah.
Rohit out of the picture, he's your
Yeah.
best player, and that is. I mean, I never liked his attitude, how he played,
But he's
how
changed
he
himself.
portrayed himself. Yeah, I mean, he has definitely redeemed himself
Yeah.
during IPL. He has been fantastic since then, and that is actually very good to see because we have another, let's call him all-rounder. If you call Shivam
He
Dube an
is.
all-rounder, he is also an all-rounder.
Yeah.
So we have a running off spinner in Shivam Dube, and then we have another off spinner in
Yeah.
Riyan Parag. Then we have Washi. Washi is actually, and I have been watching him for so long, and I was gutted when he frequently had injuries. Now I think he actually has a chance to
Washington
make
has been
that.
an emerging player since so long now. Like from the
He's still
past seven,
emerging
eight
player.
years, he's an emerging player. Like he
He's
used
still
to play for
emerging player.
RCB. He's still an emerging player. He's still very
He is.
young.
Yeah.
So Washington has the talent, but okay.
All right,
But
we're running out of time. We're an emerging podcast, hopefully very soon. This is our first episode. But quickly before we go, I'm slamming these batters and the lack of intent. And like I said, I mean, you take Rohit Sharma out of the equation, the top 7 batters for India average less than 20 across the ODI series. That is embarrassing.
Yeah.
That is something that Gambhir is going to be livid with. He's a proud cricketer. He's had some stellar performances against Sri Lanka. He's not going to like that. He's been part of teams that have never lost to Sri Lanka. I mean, imagine taking on a coach and then your batters flop like that. But quickly before we go, guys, Shetty, Krish, the impact of Bumrah or the fact that he wasn't there. You're too dependent on him in the death. Of course, he's the best fast bowler in the world alongside Mitchell Stark, Pat Cummins. But it was just exasperating to see that. Siraj almost looked listless, and he was expected to lead that pace attack. And you can't do without Hardik Pandya in that format as well, without some extent. He adds that punch to that team. I like that guy. I like that guy. He's been through a lot. During the IPL, he was India's hero in the T20 World Cup final. But you need a couple of these characters in that lineup with the ball.
But like you rightly mentioned, like I think in the first ODI also we took 6 wickets around 110 or something like that, and then they went on to score 230.
Yeah.
So in the end, Bumrah, I don't think he never leaves them a scope to score any runs in the last 5 or 10 overs. But having said that, of course, Bumrah is the most important player for us. I think more important or more or less important than Rohit at this stage. But bowlers didn't give that many runs. Like 230, 240 is a chaseable score in ODIs these days. we are a lot dependent on Bumrah, and seeing Siraj and seeing Arshdeep and all our other bowlers, I don't think that anyone can replace them in any format for now. I think Shami
Hmm.
was the only guy who came close, but now that he is also not there, I don't think anyone has the capacity to replace Bumrah in a 11. But again, I'll just say that it was a total bad performance from a batting side rather than a bowling side.
No, it
Yeah,
was,
I
but
think
also
so.
those early wickets, those quick wickets, not early really, those quick wickets towards in that third ODI, and then you let Kamindu Mendes come and score a quick 20 or 23 not out. I mean, obviously India might have still lost because you were bowled out for 130. But I mean, you're not up against a really quality Sri Lankan side. You also had a couple of spinners who could have banked on that, and you needed your senior most bowlers to be able to hit that length and that strap quickly. It didn't happen. 240 in those circumstances did prove to be challenging, and look where your batters were exposed.
Well, I would say that if the way you are saying it seems like we are depending on Neeraj Chopra to get the gold in Olympics and Bumrah to get
Yeah,
a
yeah.
wicket
I
in
mean,
cricket.
otherwise, where's your gold? You don't have a goal otherwise.
So, but you cannot depend on that person. If you play him in Sri Lanka and then again against Bangladesh, against New Zealand at home, he is done for. You will not get him for
Exactly.
Champions
No, no, no.
Trophy.
I'm not
You
saying
will
that he
not
needs
get
to
him.
be. I'm not saying he needs to be omnipresent, but that also exposes the lack of depth in your second,
But
third tier of
yeah,
bowling attack, which is not great because we are the powerhouses of
they
world cricket.
no, I wouldn't say there is a lack of depth in it. But the thing is, they have been very inconsistent, especially Siraj.
Yeah,
Siraj was supposed to be the third leading bowler, right? He is still the third leading bowler after Bumrah and Shami. But he has been rather lackluster. I mean, he is conceding 70 plus runs again on that pitch against Sri Lanka. Come on. I mean, it is not Chinnaswamy. So, but he still thinks that Colombo is also part of Bangalore or the Chinnaswamy. That is why he keeps conceding runs there as well. The thing is, he needs a lack of, I mean, he has a lack of discipline when it comes to bowling, and that is what Gambhir has to work on with whoever is coming in as a bowling coach. I'm not sure if at all we will have a pace bowling coach, but he definitely has to work on that with Siraj because he has to be the leading bowler when Bumrah is not there. Bumrah is not going to play all the matches, all the series. Shami, again, he is also injury prone now. That is where Siraj comes in, and it is about individual responsibilities, right? Shreyas Iyer, for that matter. Rishabh Pant. Rishabh Pant, we have kind of considered that he is never going to be responsible, but we have to keep him as a free-flowing player.
yeah.
He will give you the best of the innings and the worst of the innings, and you have to consider that. Fine. We will wait for the best of his innings because that is where he can win matches, series on his own. I agree.
But
But
he's
Shreyas
totally
Iyer,
out of
has
touch.
he?
No,
He's
but
not the
I mean,
player.
see,
also the fact
I,
that with
it's
Siraj,
not
he was just
unexpected.
over aggressive. I mean, he is aggressive. He has shown some panache in the past, but you look at those six wicket haul or whatever that was in the Asia Cup final. He was in that zone. I mean, throwing the ball back at the batter all the time, trying to give them a earful. You're not really that character. And when you try to step out of character, even in sport, you're exposed. Virat Kohli is used to that. He's done a lot. He's had a terrible series with the bat. Maybe he was on vacation mode in the UK, being forced to come back to Sri
See,
Lanka to join the
that's
team.
what happens when Virat
So,
Kohli is close to you, right? Virat Kohli was standing just 6 feet
wait, are you
away
saying
from.
he's bad influence on these cricketers? Is that what you're saying? So Riyan Parag should stay away from Virat Kohli. That is going to be huge. If you say that, and Shetty is going to
Absolutely,
make it viral.
absolutely.
So you're
I mean,
saying,
he is the best influence, but he is also the worst influence you can have because you
yeah,
cannot be Virat Kohli. Nobody can be Virat Kohli.
yeah,
He has
exactly.
been doing this thing forever now. He is the master of it, and you
He
cannot be the
thrives in this
master of
game.
it. You can only learn.
Yeah.
And these guys have to learn from Virat Kohli, but should never ever replicate what Virat Kohli does
Yeah.
because come on,
Mind games from
you are not
Saurav
Virat
Ganguly and
Kohli.
Virat Kohli. Okay, quickly before we
I
go,
want that to happen.
yeah, we know we've overshot it. We very enthusiastic about this first episode. I know we
Yeah.
promised to keep it to 15 to 20 minutes. We are closing in on 25. But quickly before we go, Shetty, quickly, Krish, quickly. There's now a long gap with the cricket.
Yeah.
19th of September is when India start their tour of series against Bangladesh at home. What are your expectations? Because Bangladesh is no mean force with spin in their disposal.
Right.
What sort of conditions are you expecting? September, not too cold, not too warm, but it could be humid in certain conditions, and it will be a challenge for the batters against that level of spin quality.
I think just because we have
Quality
the home
there.
advantage, these guys will get an Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja in test, and they don't have any chance against us in test cricket for sure. These guys
Yeah.
will be too ready, and it will be good to see India play test match again after a long time. So I think it's good. We are going to win that. But if you would have asked me the same question about an away series in Bangladesh or something like that, my answer would have been different. Now seeing this spin frenzy all over, but yeah, in India, I think we are winning it.
Chris, just say the opposite of what you're thinking because you're a master jinxer. You're worse than me. So say the opposite of what you're saying. Thinking.
No, I mean India can never lose to Bangladesh in test at
Oh
home.
gosh, he
But the
said
thing
that
is,
now. Oh
and
gosh.
that is the reason India should play a second string team or
Yeah,
consider this as a practice match for Australia series. And if India lose to Bangladesh at home, then there should be a very different discussion altogether. You can never, that is, especially this Bangladesh team is the worst they had ever.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I
That'll be
hope
that'll then
we'll
set
be
the
like,
tone for our.
yeah. I hope we'll be like 10 episode old till then. So we'll be very experienced when this happens. So we'll be more
Yeah.
into the flow. So let's see. We'll come back to this.
We'll come back with a lot more. But thank you for joining us on this first episode of the Unfriendly Cricket Podcast. We can promise you this is not just going to be about cricket. There will be other podcasts, other shows covering the Indian journey in Paris, the Olympic contingent, and to launch a new feature, Chuck the India. There'll be plenty more. So stay tuned to Inside Sports. Stay tuned to a lot more from me, Krish, and Shetty. We'll be back with a lot more next week. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.